have you heard what William's announcement today?
No, I haven't, because I was just getting my videos and stuff ready. So
announce it to Wayne.
Hit me up.
The referendum of 2023 to change the Constitution has failed. The no vote has won. There can be no victory for the yes vote, because today in the High Court, as decided by Justice Jago, the jurisdiction of the referendum changes itself. That is, the ballot paper has been found to be unconstitutional, because, as I put in my application, you cannot put the title, just a one-sentence title on the ballot paper. It has to be the full proposed law, as is required by Section 128 of the Constitution. So I sued the Attorney General last night. I sued the Australian Electoral Commissioner last night. And today at 4 o'clock or thereabouts, that is Australia, won.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe
awesome, man.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yes.
So he's
oh man,
he's taken it out. It's unconstitutional. Albo must resign. I mean, they were
gone.
doing a shift.
It's done.
Oh my God.
If they continue with
live on Cafe Lockdown.
Yeah, it was announced live. It's all breaking now, mate. So we've got Reuters watching. God. We've got Freedom As a Voice watching. All it takes now is some time to spread this message out, and the whole thing's gonna fall down in a heap. But if Anthony Albanese wants to double down and keep pretending that it's legitimate against the declarations of the High Court, which they decided today by not declaring the referendum valid, then they're going to just waste $300 million of taxpayers' money, which will be a disgrace. And I really hope they don't do that. But if they do, vote no anyway. It doesn't matter. Vote yes. It's all the same. We've won now as today. There's no coming back from this. We will win.
Tom, my great friend, and he's a hero of our time, so I'm honoured to be counted amongst his friends. Dr. William Bake is coming on, and he has some big news, and I refuse to hear what it was. So as you hear it, I'm going to hear it. And so without further ado, let's bring him in.
Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Australia.
How are you? Good evening.
Fantastic.
Well, let's jump straight into it. Now, for those who don't know, William was suspended. In fact, your video on Rumble is the second highest rating on our Rumble page.
Wow. Okay.
Gay Martin.
Well,
let's begin.
Well, I think we can and we must, because like that afternoon on the mountain, Michael, God was involved, as you know, and God has certainly been involved. Over the last few days, and that's why I contacted you on Thursday to say if I could set this show up for tonight, because I knew something big was in the works, and it certainly was in the works. It wasn't from me, wasn't from you, although we are helping bring this out for everybody, but God has certainly delivered. I'm exceptionally happy and overjoyed to announce a big decision tonight. But before I do that, I want to give some background to what it is before we hear what's happened. So, my case in the High Court, Michael, is about freedom of speech, duty to warn patients about the truth, and the ability of doctors to be doctors. Nothing more, nothing less. There are other cases about the vaccines and the merits and the deaths. My case focuses on the law and the ability to speak freely.
Can I just interrupt you there? Just for lay people, what I feel you mean by that is if I go into a doctor, my relationship is with the doctor, and this man or woman is going to tell me their version of what they think the truth is, regardless if it's going to hurt me or not. That's what I want from you, is the truth, because ultimately you care about me, but care in a way that you're going to tell me what I need to hear. And there's no government in there. There's no opera. There's no one anywhere else. There's just this well-trained human who has given their life to helping other humans, and he's going to share with me truth. That's my thought of what a doctor is. I don't know if you're correct, but that's
absolutely that's exactly what it must be. In fact, Michael, the only reason we take advice from medical professionals is because we believe them, we trust them. So for AHPRA to issue a purported law to say that you have to lie to the patients is a disgrace. It's a crime, and is why they are responsible for all the deaths and injuries that have occurred in Australia, I'm sorry to say. But back to the situation. So I'm in the High Court with this matter, fighting for free speech and winning. By the way, there was that loss with the in June, but then we've had the historic allowance of the appeal, and it is continuing. So my announcement tonight is not actually about the High Court case of Bay v. APRA, because there have been some other things happening in my life, Michael. One of which has been the arrest of myself outside of APRA on the 23rd of May, where I was acting as a suffragist to advocate for the rights of people to speak freely, and they put me in the watch house for 24 hours. It was a disgusting experience. Didn't like it, but they didn't stop me, and they don't stop God, and they're not going to stop God this year at all, from what I'm seeing. And yet, still, Michael.
Before you go there, just to give some context,
sure.
What do you feel you were meant to learn by that night in that cell? Because there was feces on the floor. You were in bare feet. I mean, they were really trying to break you.
Yeah.
Really coming after you, trying to break you. What do you feel you learned from that? Because you walked out into that court in the morning. I was there. I saw it. And not only, I'm telling you something, this is really important. It got missed. There was a group of us there waiting to see you come out. And this police officer comes, he's already signed the bail conditions and left. And we just got up and then we thought, he signed the bail conditions. And we said, no. And we went and sat back down. So you've already conquered us. We know you. He's not going to do that. So we sat down and we were right. And then you came out, and you came out as though you'd won the test. You were glowing. Okay?
Yes.
Spiritually glowing.
Yes. And I hope that I can convey that sense of glowiness tonight, because again,
back to my question then. What did you feel you learned by that trial? That
trial showed me that truly there is nothing that they can do to harm us, Michael, and that freedom is far more valuable than safety, because they put my safety in jeopardy. They put me in those dirty, grotty conditions, and it meant nothing to me. I felt the support of the Australian people. I felt the grace of God surrounding me, and I felt that no prisoner, no guard, no police officer, nothing could touch me in there. That's why I came out so happy, especially because I knew the law and the Constitution, of which we love so dearly, Michael, would protect me in the morning. And it did far better than I'd ever expected. I'd expected maybe several more days of being jailed and fighting, whatever, but I knew I'd win eventually. Why I was so happy was that God came out for me much quicker than expected. And indeed, that is what has happened today, and it's why I'm so excited to announce what I'm going to announce shortly. So, people, this is what has happened. On 2 Thursdays ago, I saw that the referendum was being overrun and changed by a deceptive and misleading statement that was being issued on the referendum booklet. Up until, I think it was the 24th of August, I was of the belief that the No campaign was winning quite comprehensively, especially in the polls. But when the ballot papers, the example ballot papers, were published by the Australian Electoral Commission, the AEC, I got afraid. I got worried because they changed the law to change the Constitution from a very big law, Section 129, subsection I, etc., down to a very simple and short one sentence about recognising the first peoples of Australia. And I thought that sentence sounded pretty cool to me, actually, Michael. I thought, wait, maybe I could vote yes for that as well. So I felt deceived and angered by what the Australian Electoral Commission was doing to the Australian people by not giving them all the information that is informed consent about the referendum, the most important political situation of this country, if not this entire century, because it will reshape Australia's supreme law forever and permanently. So that is why I shifted gears last week, Michael, on Thursday. And when I contacted you, I decided to go into bat, not against APRA, but against the Commonwealth of Australia. That's right. As of yesterday, I sued the Commonwealth of Australia.
You had an off day, huh? You had an off day. What could I do? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so as of yesterday, as promised, I sued the Commonwealth of Australia and Tom Rogers, the Australian Electoral Commissioner in the High Court, in the original jurisdiction of the High Court, and it was a suit to demonstrate the invalidity of the very process of the constitutional change itself. What I have sued the Commonwealth and sued the AEC about, and this is all verifiable, by the way, it's all on my website, qpp.life/legal. You can see everything, it's available right now, is that what is happening, Michael, is that the referendum law says that on the ballot paper, you are only to put the title of the law to be changed, which is that one sentence about recognizing First Peoples only. But the Constitution, which is the greater law and says how the Constitution is to be changed, specifically in Section 128, says you don't just put the title on the ballot paper, you put the actual law, the proposed law. Again, everybody can look that up. It's the Constitution of Australia, Section 128, the last section indeed. So what I realized last week, Michael, was that the government was deceiving us. How strange, right? The government was deceiving us and not putting the actual law on the ballot paper, but only putting the title on the law. And so we had a conflict between the Referendum Act and the Constitution. And in such conflicts, the Constitution always wins.
Yeah.
So you can see where I'm going with this. So I felt like something needed to be done. Some of my supporters reached out to Jacinta Price. Some of my supporters reached out to Peter Dutton. I did see Peter Dutton the other day say, are we going to have 2 referendums? That wasn't the type of response I was looking for. So they weren't available to help me with this lawsuit. So I decided to press ahead and to proceed with a suit against the Electoral Commissioner, Tom Rogers, and the Commonwealth of Australia in the High Court. And yes, indeed, that is what I did. Now, the great news is that I expected this battle to go on for weeks and weeks, maybe months, fighting over the validity of the Referendum Act and the ballot. And yet, due to God's great glory and all glory to God, my victory came this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. That's right, Michael. I'm announcing right here and right now that the referendum of 2023 is invalid. It is unlawful. It has been lost. There is no hope for the yes vote at all. The no campaign has won, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. If you don't believe me, go to qpp.life/legal. Look it up. I'm looking at it on my computer right now. It's a miracle. It's gorgeous. It's great. It is a stamped document by Justice Jago of the High Court itself, who has declined to rule on the constitutionality of the referendum, Michael. So with this case being dismissed from further need for analysis or debate, in legal circles, as my lawyer friends will know, once jurisdiction of a law is challenged, which I did do in the High Court, if jurisdiction is not proven, Michael, it is invalid. So whether the Yes campaign knows it now or later, it's all over and done, because you cannot change the Constitution without a lawful process. And Justice Jago, God bless her, has affirmed that the constitutionality of this process is not correct. So I thank God, I thank the court, and we have won. And it's all done. www.qpp.life/legal.
Wow.
So yes, we've won. It's fantastic. Now, this is a game of chess. Some people may not see it this way because they don't understand. And it's going to be all of our responsibilities to explain it to people, especially the yes voter, over the coming days, that the no vote has won, that there is doubt, a lot of doubt about the constitutionality of the referendum process. Therefore, there can be no victory by the yes vote. It doesn't matter whether the court declares it fully invalid now, tomorrow, the next day, next week, it's done. And again, you can go to qp.life, have a read of my application, have a read of the results, see it for yourself. The important thing to know is Section 128 has protected us. It has saved us. It is a great constitution. The High Court has come through for us, and we are winning, and we have won.
That is,
if you like to know,
astonishing. I'm actually just changing the title of this show. I had an intervention from God. Now I know what happened. I'm going to go to change the title. So keep talking. That is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable because, as I said, I thought I'd have to fight for days.
Lawyer, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not a trained lawyer. However, I did start a law course when I used to work for the Queensland government. However, that got interrupted when my law professor marked me as a fail on one assignment. And I asked, why, Professor? Why did you mark me as a fail? Because we've gone through the law together and you've declared that my understanding of the law is right. He said, William, I want to teach you a lesson. Doesn't matter if you know the law or not. It's about who's in charge. And I'm in charge, so you're out. It's a fail. Seriously. So that was through University of Southern Queensland in about 2008 or 2009. So I said, well, thank you, buddy. You know what? Then I complained to the university. I complained to the board. I ripped them a new one. And then when I was done, I resigned from that course because I was not going to participate in an unlawful and unethical profession, if that so be it was the way it was going to be. So anyway, things are improving now.
He actually said to you, he's going to teach you a lesson that even though you're right, he's in charge, so he's right. And he's your lecturer.
He was my professor, my lecturer, and because we had a big debate about whether I was wrong or right in the subject of the assignment. And once I like to talk and argue. Once I proved I was right, he conceded I was right. He still marked me wrong anyway, Michael, because he said, what you need to learn, William, is it's not about who's right, it's about who's in charge. Might versus right. And so I was so disgusted by what he said to me, I left my course, and that's why I never finished it. Doctorate of Jurisprudence.
I can't believe he said that.
I know, but,
Well, to be honest, that actually explains a lot.
It does.
That actually it makes you understand everything that's happening because that's what we're living in. But luckily, we have the High Court and you who's plucky enough to go up to it. I mean, most of us would be doing protests or I did a Facebook post today saying, well, I'm not going to post it, but that's all I do. I wouldn't even think of taking on or even know how to do it or even know where it is to go challenge the High Court. And you are.
Wow. And I see some comments there, people asking me to explain it a little more clearly. And I would love to, because it is a very complex situation.
Well,
so
I think we're all stunned. We're all stunned. So that's
all right. So if I could couch this in terms of a soccer game. So we have a soccer game. We have the yes side on one half of the pitch. We had the no side on the other half of the pitch. I was playing on the no side and we were winning. We were up like 3-1. And then suddenly at half time, the captain of the yes team runs up to the referee, the AEC, and says, hey, ref, actually the game's on another field, on another court, in fact. And it just so happens they're entirely different goals and line markings and all these things. That's where we really should be playing. So they were trying to change the rules of the game. What I mean by that is that they were changing the wording of the question to be put to the Australian people. The reason that they did that probably is because they wanted to make sure they would win. Here's this might versus right again, okay?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting like, all right.
Treating us with disdain, like these idiots.
Oh, absolutely.
So treating us with complete disrespect. Yet this is our country, our constitution. And that's what my rant was about today, that they're treating us with such disrespect.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I saw exactly what happened to the Trump v. Biden fiasco of 2020. That is, Trump won by a long shot, and they reckon that Biden got 81 million votes. No, he didn't. It was a stuffed ballot scenario. Everybody knows it, but yet Trump still lost. And so what I realized, I could see it all playing out before my eyes again, like we had the moral high ground, there are Aborigines on our side, the non-Aborigines on our side, we had the truth on our side, we had the law on our side, and yet suddenly, because they're trying to move the soccer players over to another pitch by changing the question on the ballot paper, Michael, I was like, we're going to lose, because who's going to vote no now? Because the question's quite simple, it's quite friendly, it's quite easy to understand. It's nothing like the actual changes that the AEC is going to bring upon us if we allow them to deceive us.
So that little question is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Absolutely, that's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's a deception. It's a deceit. It's meant to be touchy-feely and emotional. As I said, it pulled on my heartstrings. So as soon as I felt those heartstrings being pulled, because, I'm not a racist and I do like people, including Aborigines, I felt, this is not good because I want to vote no, but I'm feeling emotionally like I need to vote yes suddenly.
he's decided not only is he going after APRA, but now he's going after The Voice, and he has maybe single-handedly, or it seems that he single-handedly destroyed the referendum. That's where we are.
Well, sorry, I shouldn't say I have. God has. That's why the name of the show tonight was The Intervention of God. I could not have done it without God, Michael. All glory to God. He is what empowered me to resist the forces that were coming after me, to stay strong during this fight, and of course to give me the confidence and the ability to write such a difficult document just over the last 4 days, mind you. And again, not only that, I just never expected that it would be all finished by this afternoon. I was prepared to announce I know. I was just getting ready to announce that I was suing the Commonwealth and the Electoral Commissioner this evening. I wasn't intending to announce victory, but God be great, God be good. Here we are. We have won.
But the thing is, you are right. And that's what the Constitution is there for. It's to protect us from the government. Because it actually, what I got told by Wayne Glue, this is correct, it's not for how we should be ruled, but what parameters we give our rulers to rule us, to say you have to work within these parameters and obey these laws, which they've disregarded for the last 3 years completely. Yeah,
that's right. That's what the Constitution is there for. And that's what the original framers of the Constitution in 1898 and 1899 intended in the constitutional conventions, that would you believe, Michael, they were talking about informed consent even then. They were saying that the people are the sovereign holders of this continent, and that includes Aborigines, by the way, who did get to vote on the Constitution that we now exist under. In the book Quick and Garran, the annotated Constitution of Australia, it shows that the constitutional conventions considered how much information should the Australian people be given when deciding on whether to change the Constitution. They were going to make it a much more simplified process that involved like constitutional committees, and they said, no. Every person, every individual in this country must be given full disclosure, full information at the time of voting. And that's what I put in my application to the High Court. That is what Justice Jago ruled on today, and that is why we have won, because my argument is undeniable, it is correct, it is factual, and it's undefeatable. And that's exactly what the Constitution intended, to protect us from unlawful campaigns like the Yes campaign was doing by only putting a very shortened version of the changes to the Constitution on the ballot paper. So, look, as I said, Michael, the AEC may try to go ahead and still put this fraudulent version on the ballot paper. Go ahead. I say, I don't care. I don't mind. It's already done. The legitimacy has been questioned. It has not been proved to be constitutional. Therefore, no matter what Tom Rogers or the government or the Yes campaign does from this point on, it is inconsequential. It is inconsequential. So, yes, voters, thanks for coming. Thanks for trying. You haven't won. Better luck next time. Good night. Goodbye.
Have you heard what William's announcement today?
No, I haven't, because I was just getting my videos and stuff ready. So
announce it to Wayne.
Hit me up.
The referendum of 2023 to change the Constitution has failed. The no vote has won. There can be no victory for the yes vote, because today in the High Court, as decided by Justice Jago, the jurisdiction of the referendum changes itself, that is the ballot paper, has been found to be unconstitutional. Because, as I put in my application, you cannot put the title, just a one-sentence title on the ballot paper. It has to be the full proposed law as is required by Section 128 of the Constitution. So I sued the Attorney General last night. I sued the Australian Electoral Commissioner last night. And today at 4 o'clock or thereabouts, that is Australia, won.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe it?
Awesome, man.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yes.
So he's
oh man,
he's taken it out. It's unconstitutional. Albo must resign. I mean, they were
gone.
doing a shift.
It's done.
Oh my god.
If they continue with
live on Cafe Lockdown.
It was announced live. It's all breaking now, mate. So we've got Reuters watching. God. We've got Freedom Has a Voice watching. All it takes now is some time to spread this message out, and the whole thing's gonna fall down in a heap. But if Anthony Albanese wants to double down and keep pretending that it's legitimate against the declarations of the High Court, which they decided today by not declaring the referendum valid, then they're going to just waste $300 million of taxpayers' money, which will be a disgrace. And I really hope they don't do that. But if they do, vote no anyway. It doesn't matter. Vote yes. It's all the same. We've won now as today. There's no coming back from this. We will win.
So to not put this to a vote is to concede defeat. You only win when you run on the field and engage. And let me tell you, my government is engaged. We're all in.